It wasn't the first time Lily had to wrestle with a flat tire in the middle of nowhere, but it was the first time she had to do it with her daughter crying in the back seat and wearing a dress she absolutely hated. The sleeves were too stiff, the neckline too low, and her heels were a mistake she now regretted with every curse she muttered under her breath. "Mom, are we late to your date?" Nora, 6 years old and full of sass, peeked over her booster seat with peanut butter on her chin. "Yes, baby. Mommy's gonna be late because the tire decided to quit on us just like your dad did." She instantly regretted saying that. I mean, the tire just gave up. That's all. Nora made a face. "Tires are dumb."
Yeah, well.
"That makes two of us." Lily grabbed her phone, sighing as she saw the signal flicker weakly. A sliver of a bar. Not enough to call the woman she was supposed to meet, who, frankly, she hoped would cancel last minute. Blind dates weren't her thing, especially one set up by her loud-mouthed coworker, who swore this one was different. She leaned back against the car, sweating through her dress, and watched the empty road. That's when she heard it, the low rumble of a truck. Relief flooded her. She stood, brushing dirt off her thighs, praying it wasn't some creep. The truck pulled over slowly, a bit of dust trailing behind the wheels. The driver door opened, and a tall woman stepped out, jumpsuit tied at the waist, oil-streaked tank top clinging to toned arms, dark curls stuffed beneath a backwards cap. She was chewing gum, eyes narrowing behind long lashes as she took in the scene. "Flat tire." "Gold star," Lily muttered, slightly defensive. The woman grinned. "I'm Quinn." She walked to the trunk like she owned the world. "You got a spare?" "Yes, but I've never changed one in heels." Quinn's smirk deepened. "Good thing I brought boots." She kneeled beside the car and got to work without another word, and Lily felt something tighten in her chest. Not fear, just something unfamiliar. Interest. Nora had unbuckled herself and was now crouched next to Quinn, fascinated. "You know how to fix cars?" "Sure do." Quinn winked at her. "Grew up on a farm. If it breaks, you fix it. Or you walk." "My mom doesn't know how to fix anything." "That's not true," Lily snapped, embarrassed. "I fix things." "Like what?" Nora asked. "Like breakfast. And boo-boos. And broken Barbie heads." Quinn chuckled. "That's the kind of fixing that matters." 10 minutes later, the spare was on, and Quinn stood, wiping her hands on a rag she pulled from her back pocket. "You're good to go. Probably shouldn't drive too far on that, though." "I was going to a date," Lily said, immediately regretting how that sounded. "Not that it matters. I'm late now anyway." Quinn raised a brow. "A date, huh?"
Yeah.
Lily forced a shrug. "Blind one. My coworker keeps trying to set me up. Apparently this woman's a badass with intimacy issues, which is code for emotionally unavailable and will probably ghost me." "Sounds like a catch," Quinn muttered, clearly amused. "Do you usually go on dates in rural ditches?" "Only when I want to impress them with my vulnerability." That earned a laugh, low, warm, and real. Lily felt it in her stomach. "Well, good luck," Quinn said, backing toward her truck. "Hope she's not as bad as you think." Lily hesitated, then stepped forward. "Can I at least buy you a coffee? As a thank you?" Quinn paused. "I don't do coffee with strangers."
Right.
"Fair. But I do hot chocolate with a woman who admits she's scared of a date she hasn't met yet." Lily blinked. "Excuse me? Blind date at the Blue Bean Cafe? 7:30. Quinn smirked.
Yeah.
"That was me." Lily's breath caught. Her mouth opened, then closed, then opened again. "You're kidding." "Nope." Quinn tossed her a wink and started her truck. "Looks like we're already off to a messy start. Guess we can only go up from here." And with that, she drove off, leaving Lily stunned, amused, and just a little bit mortified, yet oddly excited. Lily stood there long after the sound of Quinn's truck faded down the road, heat flushing her cheeks, her heart beating a rhythm she hadn't felt in years. Maybe ever. She looked down at her hands, still shaking slightly, and then over at Nora, who was smirking like she'd just watched her mom lose at poker. "You like her," Nora said, matter of fact. "Do not." You do. No, sweetie, You looked at her like people look at pancakes. That's absurd. You love pancakes. Lily rubbed her temples, muttering something inaudible before getting back into the car. The drive to the cafe was short, and she spent the entire 10 minutes rehearsing excuses. Maybe she'd pretend she didn't recognize Quinn. Maybe she'd claim it was all a misunderstanding. Or maybe, just maybe, she'd march right in, apologize for underestimating her, and sit down like a normal adult. The cafe was tucked into a quiet corner of the town square, glowing warmly beneath strings of yellow lights. Lily parked around the corner, leaving Nora with her coloring book and strict instructions to stay put. She didn't want her daughter watching her crash and burn. Again. Inside, the Blue Bean Cafe was cozy and slightly too hipster, with exposed brick walls, indie music humming low, and the smell of cinnamon and espresso wrapping around her like a scarf. She spotted Quinn immediately. Back corner, legs stretched out under the table, sipping from a mismatched mug. No oil stains now. Clean jeans, a soft gray Henley hugging her frame, curls slightly damp from a quick shower. The transformation was subtle, but made Lily blink twice. Quinn looked up at the sound of the bell above the door and grinned when she saw her. That grin again. Like she knew something Lily didn't. So you came, Quinn said as Lily approached. Couldn't resist the woman with the lug wrench. I came for the hot chocolate you promised. Right. Quinn gestured to the chair across from her. I got you one. Thought you might be 20 minutes late again. Lily sat, folding her hands in her lap. I'm still mildly recovering from the fact that you're the blind date. What? Not what you expected? No, Lily admitted. I expected someone polished. Maybe a little stiff. You know, the usual career woman who doesn't have time for love type. Quinn chuckled. I fix engines and fences, not hearts. That's stiff enough for you. Actually, that might be the opposite of stiff. Quinn arched an eyebrow but didn't press. So, she said after a beat. Your coworker said you were smart, sarcastic, and guarded as hell. Which one bothers you?
None.
But she also said you'd probably find an excuse to leave halfway through. Lily blinked.
Wow.
She really knows how to sell me. She said you're worth the mess, though. That's the part one held on to. Silence stretched between them. Not awkward, but cautious. Like both women were measuring the weight of words before throwing them into the space between. Why'd you agree to this? Lily asked. Blind dates aren't exactly your vibe, I'm guessing. They're not. Quinn looked down at her mug. But sometimes, when life's been quiet too long, you say yes just to see if something can shake it loose. You wanted to be shaken? Maybe just seen. Lily didn't respond right away. There was something in Quinn's voice, like gravel smoothed by time. Rough edges worn soft, but still jagged underneath. She felt herself leaning in. Do you do this often? Lily asked. Pick up stranded women and pretend it's a coincidence. Quinn laughed. That was pure luck. I almost turned down that road, but something said take it. You believe in signs? I believe in timing. The conversation drifted into lighter things. Favorite books. Worst dates. Nora's obsession with dinosaurs. Quinn's tragic attempts at vegan baking. They both laughed more than either expected. Quinn was funny, but in a way that crept up on you. She didn't perform. She just said things with a tilt of the mouth, a slow blink, and the kind of charm that snuck under your skin before you noticed. Lily, for her part, felt herself loosening in ways she hadn't in years. Her shoulders stopped sitting so close to her ears. Her mouth smiled without permission. Her guard, so meticulously built over years of disappointments, was starting to slip, and it terrified her. Quinn glanced at the clock and winced. I should get going. Early morning. Of course. Lily stood quickly, almost too quickly, knocking her chair slightly. Thank you again. For the tire. For the drink. For making you late to a date with me? Quinn smirked. You're welcome. Outside, the air was cool and crisp. Quinn walked her to the car, and for a moment, neither said anything. The kind of quiet that stretches, not heavy, not empty, just full of possibility. So, Quinn said, shoving her hands into her pockets. Do I get a second date? Or are you gonna ghost me like your coworker predicted? Depends, Lily said, trying to sound casual. Do second dates also come with unexpected mechanical assistance? Only if you're lucky. Then yeah, I think I'd like that. Quinn nodded slowly, her eyes lingering. You've got something on your cheek, she murmured, reaching out gently. Lily froze. The touch was featherlight, her thumb brushing just beneath Lily's cheekbone. Probably just chocolate. Probably. Neither moved. Lily's breath hitched. Quinn didn't lean in, didn't assume, but she didn't move back either. It was an invitation. And Lily, for once, didn't run. She just smiled. I'll text you, she whispered. I hope so, Quinn replied. And with that, she turned and walked into the night, leaving Lily breathless all over again. Lily didn't sleep that night.
She tried.
God, she tried. But every time she closed her eyes, Quinn's voice came back, low and warm. Do I get a second date? Then her touch, featherlight on her cheek. The steady confidence. The way she didn't push, didn't rush, just waited. It rattled Lily in the worst and best way. She lay awake, staring at the ceiling, Nora's tiny feet wedged under her ribs like always, and wondered how someone could feel like a risk and safety at the same time. The next morning, she poured cereal for Nora, still distracted, still thinking. Are you thinking about the pretty lady with the truck? Nora asked between spoonfuls. Lily choked on her coffee. I'm thinking about bills and laundry and grown-up stuff. No, you're not. You've got your dreamy face on. I don't have a dreamy face. You do. It's like your eyes are trying to hug something. Lily blinked. You're terrifyingly observant. I'm 6. It's my job. At work, Lily couldn't focus. Her emails blurred, her spreadsheets mocked her, and her coworker, Tanya, the one responsible for the blind date, kept smirking at her like she knew everything. So, Tanya leaned on the edge of her desk around noon. Was she awful? Actually, Lily hesitated. No. Tanya's eyes widened. That's all I get? No. She was. Lily glanced around, lowered her voice. She was the one who helped me on the side of the road before the date. Tanya gasped. You're kidding. That was her. Yup. Are you kidding me? That's like something out of a romance novel. It's terrifying. Why? Because Lily paused. Not like the others. Let me guess. She doesn't make you feel like you have to shrink yourself. Lily didn't answer. She didn't have to. That night, after Nora was asleep and the apartment was finally quiet, Lily sat on the couch with her phone in hand, staring at Quinn's contact. Just a first name and a smirking profile pic. She typed. Deleted.
Typed again.
Finally, she hit send. You still offering hot chocolate? Or was that a one-time miracle? 3 dots appeared almost instantly. Only for stranded mothers in distress. Or second dates. Technically, you left me stranded. Emotionally. Tragic. Want to fix that? Lily hesitated, her fingers hovering. Tomorrow night. No coffee shops. Surprise me. Quinn's reply came after a beat. You like tacos? Is that a real question? Text me your address. I'll pick you up at 7. The next day crawled. Lily hadn't been this nervous for a date since high school. She spent 40 minutes picking an outfit, then changed 3 times. She didn't want to look too polished. Quinn wasn't the type who cared about lipstick, but she also didn't want to look like she hadn't tried. In the end, she settled on jeans, boots, and a soft navy sweater that made her eyes look a little less tired. Hey, if you're enjoying this story, go ahead and drop a like to help us grow even more. And let me know in the comments, on a scale from 0 to 10, what score would you give this story so far? Your feedback makes all the difference. When 7 o'clock hit, the knock at her door nearly made her drop her phone. Nora was already at her friend's house for a sleepover, so it was just her, alone. Heart racing, palms sweaty. She opened the door. Quinn stood there, holding a brown paper bag and 2 bottled sodas. Hi, she said. You look. Her eyes trailed over Lily, slower than necessary. Like trouble. Lily smirked. And you look like you just robbed a taco truck. That's because I did. Legally. The owner's my cousin. Quinn handed her the bag. Tacos.
Fresh.
Still warm. You ready? Where are we going? Not far. I figured something quiet. Something mine. Lily grabbed her jacket and followed Quinn down the stairs to her truck. The drive was short, just a few blocks, and ended at a hidden clearing behind the edge of a small park. There was a makeshift picnic table, a string of solar lights wrapped around a low-hanging tree branch, and the quiet hum of crickets in the background. You did this? Lily asked, stunned. Built the table. Put up the lights. It's where I go when I want to disappear. And you brought me here? You asked for a surprise. This is the only one I trust. They sat on opposite sides of the table, passing tacos back and forth, dipping chips in guacamole, sipping soda straight from the bottle. Conversation came easier this time. They talked about growing up in small towns. Quinn's love for old cars. Lily's constant balancing act between motherhood and loneliness. Do you ever feel like you've lost parts of yourself? Lily asked softly. Like, before the baby, before the failed relationships, before everything got so damn complicated? Quinn didn't answer right away. Then she nodded.
Yeah.
But I think some of those pieces aren't gone. Just buried. Under bills and expectations and heartbreak. And what if you don't remember how to dig? Quinn leaned forward, her voice lower now. Then maybe you let someone help you. Silence. Lily looked away, suddenly overwhelmed. She wasn't used to being seen this clearly. You're not what I expected, she whispered. Good, Quinn replied. Expectations are boring. After they ate, Quinn stood and offered a hand. Walk with me? Lily hesitated for a split second, then took it. They walked through the park in comfortable silence, Quinn's fingers grazing hers, but never fully entwining. It was a slow tease. A tension Lily felt all the way down to her bones. Eventually, they circled back to the truck. Quinn opened the door for her, then paused. I don't want to rush this, she said. But I also don't want to pretend I don't want to kiss you. Lily's breath caught. That makes two of us. Quinn didn't move, not until Lily did. It was Lily who stepped forward, who closed the gap, who tilted her chin and brushed her lips against Quinn's first. The kiss was soft, tentative, and full of unsaid things. It didn't ask for anything. It just offered. And Lily, who'd spent years protecting every vulnerable part of herself, accepted. The morning after the kiss, Lily woke with her fingertips still tingling. She lay there in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering how a single moment could settle so deeply inside her. It hadn't been fireworks. It hadn't been reckless. It had been soft, certain, like something ancient and quiet had finally exhaled between them. She turned her head and saw Nora sprawled beside her, one arm draped dramatically across her stuffed dinosaur. Lily smiled to herself, then sighed. Reality always arrived quickly. She got up, made breakfast, packed Nora's lunch, and rushed through the morning routine with a mind half present. Every part of her was still somewhere else, at that hidden park, at that table, with that woman who made her feel like maybe, just maybe, it was okay to want again. When she finally checked her phone, a message from Quinn was waiting. I keep thinking about your eyes after the kiss. They looked like you remembered something. Lily stared at the screen for a long time before typing. Maybe I remembered what it's like to feel wanted without having to perform. The reply came a minute later. I'm not looking for a performance. I'm looking for real. Whatever that looks like with you. That should have scared Lily. But instead, it rooted itself somewhere in her chest.
Steady. Warm.
That evening, after putting Nora to bed, she sat on the couch staring at the wall, the silence too heavy to ignore. She picked up the phone and called Quinn. Hi, she said when the line connected. Hey, Quinn replied, voice immediately softer. You okay? I don't know. Maybe. Want company? Yes. The word escaped before she could second-guess it. Quinn arrived 20 minutes later, dressed in joggers and a loose black hoodie, her curls tied back, looking unfairly good for someone who claimed to have been under a car all day. She walked in without hesitation, bringing the scent of clean soap and motor oil with her. Lily poured them both wine, and they sat side by side on the couch, legs almost but not quite touching. "You seem tense," Quinn said gently. "It's just," Lily shook her head. "I don't know how to do this without screwing it up." "Do what?" "Let someone close. Let someone in. Be seen." Quinn was quiet for a moment. Then, "You don't have to do it all at once. You just have to not run." Lily looked down. "That's what I'm good at." "Then maybe we take it slow. No pressure. No expectations. Except one." Lily glanced sideways. "That you don't disappear." "I won't." Quinn's voice was firm. "I've done that before.
Hurt people that way.
I'm not doing it again." Something in her tone shifted, an old regret, not yet healed. "Who did you disappear from?" Lily asked quietly. "Someone who loved me more than I knew how to handle." "Was it recent?" "A few years ago. She wanted forever. I was still figuring out next week. And now I want something that's real. Doesn't have to be forever. Just honest." Lily let the silence sit between them again. Then, without fully thinking, she reached out and laced her fingers with Quinn's. Quinn looked down, surprised, then smiled. "Is this you not running?" "This is me trying." "Trying looks good on you." They spent the rest of the night like that, talking, laughing quietly, sharing little pieces of themselves like puzzle fragments neither had dared offer before. At some point, Lily rested her head on Quinn's shoulder. At another, Quinn softly brushed her knuckles across Lily's thigh, an absent-minded touch that said everything without needing words. When it got late, Quinn stood. "I should go." "You don't have to," Lily said before she could stop herself. Quinn studied her. "Are you sure?" Lily nodded. "I don't want this to be about rushing. But I also don't want to pretend I don't feel safe with you." So Quinn stayed. But not in the way Lily's past lovers might have. There were no clothes shed, no frantic hands or mouths. Instead, they lay curled on the couch, limbs intertwined, warmth shared in stillness. And when Lily finally slept, it was deep and dreamless, because for the first time in a long time, she didn't feel alone. The next morning, Lily woke to find Quinn in the kitchen, hair messy, making pancakes while humming under her breath. Nora stood nearby, watching intently. "You flip them before they bubble?" "Only if you want to live dangerously," Quinn said, flipping one dramatically. Lily leaned on the doorway, arms crossed. "Teaching my daughter chaos, I see." "Controlled chaos," Quinn replied, grinning. "There's a difference." Nora turned to her mom. "Can Quinn come to my school's spring fair this weekend?" Quinn froze slightly. Her eyes flicked to Lily, waiting. "It's just a fair," Nora added. "With games and food and animals and stuff. You could win me a giant sloth." Lily hesitated. This was where things got complicated. This was where things started to matter. But looking at Quinn, hair a mess, flipping pancakes with the ease of someone who fit in like she'd always been there, it didn't feel like rushing. It felt right. "If Quinn wants to come," Lily said slowly, "I think that would be okay." Quinn smiled, small and sincere. "I'd love to." And just like that, something shifted again. The line between this is temporary and this is real blurred. And neither of them pulled away. The fair was louder than Lily remembered. Kids screamed with joy or frustration over games rigged with cheap prizes. Country music played from tinny speakers, the scent of fried dough and popcorn mixing in the breeze, sticky and sweet. Parents stood in clusters, exchanging polite smiles, keeping one eye on their kids and another on their own exhaustion. Lily hated these things. Too many conversations. Too many expectations. Too many moments to feel like the outsider she often did, especially as a single mom. But this time felt different. Because this time, Quinn was beside her. And she wasn't just standing there, she was in it. She crouched beside Nora at the ring toss, let herself get defeated dramatically, and cheered like a lunatic when Nora finally landed a shot. She bought them matching sloth keychains from a booth, held Lily's hand when no one was looking, and even tried to win a giant teddy bear with a strength hammer game. "If I tear a muscle doing this, you're driving me home," she warned. Lily laughed. "That's assuming you can even lift the hammer." Quinn raised an eyebrow, then slammed it with enough force to ring the bell and make two teenagers gasp in awe. Nora squealed, jumping up and down. "You're so strong." "Tell your mom that," Quinn said, sending Lily a wink. Lily rolled her eyes, but she was smiling too much to hide it. Still, despite the lightness, something coiled tight in her stomach all afternoon. She kept waiting for a look, a comment, a cold shoulder from another parent. Not everyone in this town was subtle. Some of them stared too long. Some whispered. Others just looked away. Quinn noticed.
Of course she did.
"You okay?" she asked once, when they were waiting in line for lemonade. "Yeah," Lily lied. "Just crowds." "Is it me being here?" "No," Lily hesitated.
Yes. Not in a bad way.
"Just, it's a lot." "You want to go?" "No." And that was the truth. Later, while Nora was distracted with a face-painting station, Lily and Quinn sat on a bench beneath a tree, the buzz of the fair just distant enough. "You were good with her today," Lily said, her voice soft. "She's a great kid. She doesn't open up to people fast. But she likes you." "You sure that's not just because I bought her 3 churros?" "Partly. But not entirely." Lily twisted the sloth keychain between her fingers. "Do you ever wonder how fast is too fast?" "All the time," Quinn said. "But then I remember time's not what builds trust. It's presence." Lily looked at her. "You always say things like that?" "Only when I'm trying not to fall on my face." Lily blinked. "You're afraid of falling?" "Terrified," Quinn admitted. "But I think I'm already halfway down." That made Lily smile, and it scared her, because she was falling too. Later that evening, after the fair, Quinn drove them home. Nora had passed out in the back seat, her sloth plush cradled like a newborn. The silence in the truck was heavy with things unsaid. When they reached the apartment, Lily turned to Quinn, unsure if she wanted to invite her up or not. Not because she didn't want her there, but because she did. Too much. "I had a good time," she said instead. "Me too." Quinn hesitated. "You don't have to invite me in." "I know. But if you did," Lily's breath caught. She looked at the building, then back at Quinn. "I can't." Quinn nodded once. "Okay. Not because I don't want to. Because you do." "Exactly." Quinn's hand brushed hers gently. "I'm not going anywhere." And she didn't push.
Didn't ask again.
Just squeezed Lily's fingers and drove off with a soft smile and headlights that faded slowly. Inside the apartment, Lily tucked Nora in, her heart too loud in her chest. She sat on the edge of the bed, brushing her daughter's hair off her forehead, trying to find the calm that Quinn always seemed to carry so easily. She didn't sleep much that night. The next few days passed quietly. They texted, but not constantly. Quinn sent a photo of an engine she was rebuilding. Lily sent one of Nora covered in spaghetti. They weren't desperate. They were steady. And Lily didn't realize how much she missed Quinn's presence until Thursday, when a knock at her door startled her. She opened it and froze. Quinn stood there, but not alone. A woman was beside her. Blonde.
Tall.
Gorgeous. Arms crossed. Face unreadable. Quinn's eyes met hers. Apologetic. "Lily," she said carefully. "This is Tessa." Lily's stomach dropped. Tessa. As in the ex. The one who wanted forever. The one Quinn said she disappeared from. And she was standing in Lily's doorway, like a ghost summoned without warning. "Can we talk?"
Quinn asked.
But Lily couldn't answer. Her throat had gone dry, and all she could think was, "I let her in. And now the past is standing here to take her back." For a few long, unbearable seconds, no one spoke. Lily's fingers tightened on the edge of the door, her body frozen between instinct and reason. Quinn stood there in silence, her jaw tight, her hand flexing slightly like she wanted to reach out, but didn't dare. Tessa was the first to break it. "I'm not here to cause trouble," she said, voice calm, steady. Too steady. "I asked to see her. Quinn didn't want to come, but I insisted." Lily's gaze snapped to Quinn. "You didn't want to come?" "I told her it wasn't a good idea," Quinn said quietly. "But she showed up at the shop. Said she just wanted 5 minutes." And you couldn't have mentioned that before you brought her to my door? Lily's voice was low, sharp. Quinn took a breath. I didn't plan to. I didn't want to lie. And I didn't want you to find out from someone else. Tessa shifted, eyes flicking between them. I'm not here to make things worse. I just needed closure. Or clarity. Or something. You had years for closure, Lily said, before she could stop herself. Tessa nodded slowly. Maybe. But sometimes it takes seeing someone happy with someone else to realize what you lost. I'm not yours to lose, Quinn said softly. The silence that followed sliced deep. Lily stepped back finally, jaw clenched. You have 5 minutes. Quinn looked startled. Lily, you brought her here. You can explain here. You sure?
No.
But I don't want to wonder. She stepped aside. Quinn and Tessa entered, the tension so thick it seemed to vibrate through the air. Lily crossed her arms and leaned against the counter, watching them with careful detachment. Tessa didn't sit. I'm not here to win her back, she said, looking at Lily now. I know I'm too late.
I've known that for a while.
But when she left, she didn't explain. She just vanished.
And that haunted me.
You are in love with her, Lily said. Not a question. Yes.
Tessa nodded.
And it broke me when she disappeared. But I also know now she couldn't love me the way I needed. She didn't know how. She turned to Quinn then. But I see it now. You've learned. Whoever this is, you're giving her more than you ever gave me. And I wanted to see it with my own eyes. Lily didn't know what to feel. Anger? Jealousy? Pity? She only knew that her chest ached. She looked at Quinn. You really just left her? I did, Quinn said, her voice thick. I ran. She wanted more than I could give, and instead of trying, I disappeared. It's my biggest regret. Then why now? Why bring her here? Because I didn't want secrets. Because I'm trying to be someone who shows up, even when it's messy. And I didn't want you to think I had anything to hide. Lily's throat tightened. You don't. But I do. Quinn blinked. What? Lily looked away. I'm falling for you. And I didn't expect that. And it scares the hell out of me. Tessa smiled faintly. Then maybe you do get it. The way she makes you feel. It pulls the truth out of you whether you want it or not. Quinn turned to Tessa. You didn't need to come here to tell me that. I didn't do it for you, Tessa said gently. I did it for her. Because she deserves to know what she's getting into. She walked to the door.
Paused.
She'll break your heart, if you let her. But only because she'll never let herself be enough. And then she was gone. The door clicked shut behind her, and the silence that followed felt like it might crack Lily open. Quinn stayed still, staring at the floor. I didn't know she'd say that. But is it true? Lily asked. Do you believe you'll never be enough? Sometimes. Quinn looked up at her then, eyes raw. But with you, I want to try to be. That broke something in Lily. She stepped forward, slow and cautious, until she was inches away. You don't have to be perfect, she whispered. You just have to be here. Quinn exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for hours. I'm here. And this time, when Lily reached for her, there was no hesitation. No fear. Just two people with scars, choosing each other anyway. Later, after Nora had come home and gone to bed, after the chaos settled into quiet again, Lily and Quinn curled up on the couch, wrapped in each other's warmth. I'm sorry, Quinn murmured into her hair. For all of it. You can't change the past, but I can promise not to run again. Lily nodded slowly. That's all I need.
A pause.
Then, soft and careful, what she said about not letting yourself be enough. I think you already are. You just don't see it yet. Quinn didn't respond, but the way she held Lily, tight, grateful, almost desperate, said more than words ever could. Days passed, quieter than expected. Not the kind of quiet that settles easily, but the kind that simmers under the surface, like a question no one wants to ask. Lily and Quinn still saw each other, still touched fingers over coffee mugs and kissed softly in doorways. But something had shifted. Not broken. Just bent. The visit from Tessa lingered in Lily's chest like a bruise. She kept pressing to make sure it was still there. It wasn't about jealousy, not really. It was about what Tessa said, about Quinn not letting herself be enough. And Lily couldn't stop wondering if that was a burden she was prepared to carry. One night, while Nora was staying at her father's for the weekend, Lily and Quinn sat curled on the couch watching an old black-and-white movie with the volume turned low. Quinn had her arm draped around Lily's shoulders, her fingers idly tracing circles on her arm. The moment was peaceful, but Lily's mind wasn't. "Can I ask you something?" she said. Quinn didn't look away from the screen. "Always." "Did you love her?" "A beat." "Yes," Quinn said, "but not the way she needed." "Do you think you'll love me that way?" This time, Quinn turned. Her eyes searched Lily's. "I already do." The air shifted. Lily blinked, heart racing. "You've never said that before." "I know. And now you do." "I think I've known for a while. I just didn't know how to say it without feeling like I was dragging my past into it." "You're not," Lily whispered. "You're just letting me into your present." Quinn smiled softly, but it was tinged with something darker. "I've spent so much of my life holding back love like it's a weapon I'm not allowed to use." "It's not a weapon."
"No."
"But it scares me more than anything." Lily touched her face gently. "Then let it be soft this time." Quinn kissed her, slow and reverent, like a thank you, like a promise, and for the rest of the night, they stayed wrapped around each other, saying nothing, needing nothing but skin and silence. The next morning, Lily found a folded piece of paper on her kitchen counter. Quinn had already left, off to an early job, but the note was there in her messy, slanted handwriting. "Thank you for holding space for me. For seeing me, even when I can't. I'm scared, but I'm trying. And if you'll keep letting me try, I won't run." Lily smiled. She pressed the note to her chest, then tucked it into the back of her journal like a secret too fragile to lose. That weekend, they planned something new, a road trip with Nora, just a few hours out of town, to a cabin Quinn had access to through an old family friend. "It's rustic," Quinn warned, packing tools into the truck. "Like, no Wi-Fi, we might see deer rustic." "I'm not afraid of deer," Lily teased. "I'm afraid of you forgetting I'm a city girl with no interest in bugs." "I'll protect you," Quinn said, mock serious. "Even from mosquitoes." The drive was filled with laughter and loud music, Nora belting out every chorus like it was an anthem. Lily watched them interact, Quinn letting Nora braid her curls while driving, Nora leaning on Quinn's shoulder without hesitation, and something in her chest twisted again. A soft ache. Not fear. Not doubt. Just the terrifying beauty of wanting more. The cabin was small but cozy, perched near a lake with trees surrounding it like a private universe. Inside, everything smelled like pine and old stories. Nora claimed the top bunk instantly. Quinn built a fire. Lily unpacked snacks and wine. That first night, after Nora fell asleep mid-story, Quinn and Lily sat out on the small porch, wrapped in blankets, watching the stars. "I've never brought anyone here," Quinn said. "Not even Tessa?" Lily asked gently. "Especially not Tessa." Lily nodded. "Thank you for trusting me with this." "Thank you for trusting me with her." Quinn glanced inside where Nora slept. "I know how careful you have to be." "You're the first person I haven't wanted to keep at a distance," Lily admitted. "And that scares me more than anything." "Then I guess we're both terrified." They looked at each other, and it was different this time. Not just tenderness. There was hunger, permission, and something like home. Inside the cabin, lips found skin in the dark. Clothes fell slowly, not out of urgency, but reverence. They moved like people who had learned to be careful with each other's wounds. Lily traced the scars on Quinn's shoulder, the curve of her back. Quinn held her like a prayer, like she didn't believe this was real until Lily's breath hitched in her ear. No one spoke, because words would have only diluted it. Afterward, they lay tangled together beneath an old quilt, the only sound the crackling fire and the rhythm of their hearts slowly sinking. Lily whispered into the space between their bodies, "Please don't disappear." Quinn pulled her closer. I'm already here. And for the first time, Lily believed her. Morning came slowly, slipping into the cabin like a secret. The fire had gone out sometime during the night, and the air carried that faint chill of early autumn, wrapping around them like a whisper. Lily stirred first. Her body ached in the softest, sweetest ways. Her head rested on Quinn's chest, their legs tangled, the quilt pulled halfway to the floor. She stayed there, eyes closed, listening to Quinn's heartbeat, steady, present, real. For once, her first instinct wasn't to pull away. It was to stay. Quinn woke minutes later, shifting slightly before pressing a kiss into Lily's hair. Neither spoke. There was no need. But the silence between them felt different now, richer, anchored by something that couldn't be undone. Eventually, they got up. Nora was still asleep, curled like a cat under a mound of blankets, her stuffed sloth tucked beneath her chin. Lily made coffee. Quinn cooked eggs and toast, humming under her breath as if this kind of morning was normal for them. As if they'd been doing this for years. And that, somehow, made Lily want to cry. Because she wanted more mornings like this. She wanted enough. After breakfast, they walked down to the lake. Nora ran ahead, throwing sticks into the water and trying to skip rocks. Quinn carried the thermos of coffee. Lily tucked her hands into her jacket pockets, watching the way the wind tugged gently at Quinn's hair. You look like you belong out here, Lily said. I don't belong anywhere, Quinn replied, but she said it without bitterness. That used to scare me. Now, it just makes me flexible. And where do you bend for me? Lily asked, smiling. Quinn tilted her head. Everywhere. The moment was too perfect.
Which is probably why it didn't last.
That afternoon, Quinn's phone rang while Lily and Nora were making sandwiches inside. She stepped out to answer it, her expression unreadable as she listened. When she returned 10 minutes later, something had shifted. Her jaw was tight again. Her posture a little too controlled. Lily saw it immediately. What's wrong? Nothing, Quinn said too quickly. It was just work stuff. On a Sunday?
Yeah.
One of the garages I contract with got hit by a break-in last night. They're sorting it out. Do you need to go? Quinn hesitated. Not yet. But the distance in her eyes said otherwise. And Lily knew better than to push. That night, back in the cabin, the tension hung like mist. Quinn still held her, still touched her, still kissed her goodnight, but there was something missing. Not affection, but presence. It was like part of her had already left. Lily lay awake long after Quinn had drifted off, staring at the ceiling. The warmth from the night before now felt fragile, delicate, like one wrong move would shatter it. The next morning, they packed up and drove home. Nora chattered in the back seat. Quinn drove with one hand on the wheel, the other resting quietly on Lily's thigh. And Lily didn't say a word, because she didn't want to know if Quinn was already slipping again. 2 days passed. No calls. A few texts, brief, polite, missing the fire, the softness, the them. On the 3rd day, Lily called. Quinn didn't answer. That night, Lily sat alone in her kitchen, Nora asleep, a glass of wine untouched beside her. She stared at her phone like it might explain something. At midnight, it finally buzzed. A message from Quinn. I'm sorry I've been distant. There's a lot happening. Not just work. I'm figuring something out. I don't want to pull you into it until I understand what it is. Lily stared at it for a long time. Her fingers hovered over the keyboard. Do I get to know if you're okay? She typed. Then deleted it. Then typed again. I'm not asking for details. Just don't shut me out. Quinn replied a minute later. I'm trying not to. I swear. But the space was already there. And Lily had been in this space before. She knew what it looked like when someone started to pull away, piece by piece, without even realizing it. So she did the only thing she could. She let her heart settle. She focused on Nora, on work, on herself. She didn't chase. But she didn't close the door either. 3 more days passed. No news. No Quinn. Then, on a Thursday afternoon, Lily got a call from an unknown number. She answered with her heart in her throat. Hello. Lily. Quinn's voice was raw. Can I see you? Where are you? Outside. Lily ran to the window. There she was, standing at the edge of the sidewalk, hands in her jacket pockets, shoulders hunched against the cold. Not broken, but close. Lily opened the door. What happened? Quinn stepped forward, but didn't cross the threshold. I've been lying to myself, she said. About something big. Lily's breath caught. Are you okay? Not really, but I want to be. Quinn looked up then, eyes glistening. And I want to tell you everything. If you still want to hear it. Lily didn't move. She just opened the door wider. Come inside. And this time Quinn stepped through. Quinn stepped inside like the air outside had been punishing her. She moved slowly, like her limbs were heavier than usual, like whatever she was carrying wasn't just emotional, it was physical, too. Lily closed the door gently behind her, then turned and waited. She didn't reach for her.
Didn't ask.
She simply stood there, giving her the space to speak or collapse. Quinn stood still in the center of the living room, staring at the floor, jaw tight. Her voice, when it came, was quiet. I should have told you sooner. Tell me now, Lily said. Quinn looked up at her, and for the first time in days, Lily saw it. Not just the exhaustion, but the fear. I got a letter, she began. Right after we came back from the cabin. A letter? From my sister. That threw Lily for a moment. I didn't know you had a sister. I haven't seen her in almost 15 years. Quinn swallowed. I left home when I was 17. She was 14.
We didn't speak again after that.
Until last week. What did she say? She has a daughter, Quinn said. My niece. Her name is Ivy. She's 8. And she paused, shaking her head, her voice going thinner. She's in foster care. My sister, she's not doing well. She wrote me from rehab. She's trying, but she said she doesn't know if she'll ever get custody back. And Ivy's been bounced between 2 homes already. Lily stepped forward, slowly. Quinn, she asked me to take her. Quinn's voice cracked. To petition for guardianship. Said I was the only person she trusted not to screw it up. Silence fell like snow. Lily felt it settle in her bones. And are you, she asked gently, going to take her? Quinn finally looked at her, eyes wide, haunted. I don't know. I want to. I think I have to. But it's not just my life anymore. It's yours. It's Nora's. I didn't want to bring this into our world until I was sure I could handle it. You didn't want to bring it into our world? Lily repeated. So, you were going to shut me out?
No.
I was trying to protect you. From what? Loving someone who suddenly has more responsibility than you planned for. Quinn flinched. I didn't want to hurt you. Then you should have told me when it happened. I was scared. Lily's voice broke a little. I am too. But I didn't disappear. Quinn closed her eyes. I know. Do you even want this? I want her safe. I want her with someone who won't give up on her. That's not the same as wanting her with you. Quinn ran her hands through her hair. I don't know if I'll be enough. I don't know if I can be what she needs. What you need. Stop deciding what I need, Lily snapped. Just tell me the truth. Quinn's face crumbled. I want to try. I want to be the kind of person Ivy can trust. And I want to do it with you. But I didn't know if I deserved to ask for that. That did it. Lily crossed the space between them and wrapped her arms around Quinn without hesitation. Quinn collapsed into her, her entire body trembling. You don't have to be perfect, Lily whispered. You just have to let me be here. They stood like that for a long time. When Quinn finally pulled back, her voice was steadier. I have a meeting with social services tomorrow. They want to assess my home.
My job.
My stability. Then let's get your house ready, Lily said. Let's get you ready. You want to help? I want to stand beside you. That night, after Nora had gone to sleep, they sat on the floor of Quinn's apartment, making lists, furniture Ivy would need, paperwork to file, food preferences for a kid they'd never met. Do you think she'll like me? Quinn asked suddenly. I think she'll love you, Lily said without hesitation. You're calm.
And kind.
And funny. You listen. What if she hates me? Then we'll figure it out. Together. Quinn turned to look at her. This isn't how I pictured things going. Neither did I, Lily whispered. But that doesn't make it wrong. Quinn took her hand, her grip warm and certain. You really don't have to do this. You're not doing this alone anymore, Lily said. Not if you still want me. God, I want you. And then they kissed, deep and aching, full of every unspoken fear and promise they'd been carrying. It wasn't about lust. It was about choosing. About saying I'm still here even when everything suddenly looked different. When they parted, Quinn touched her forehead to Lily's. You're not running, she whispered. Neither are you, Lily replied. The next morning, Lily watched from the porch as Quinn met with the social worker. She stood tall, steady, dressed in clean jeans and a tucked-in shirt Lily had ironed the night before. Her hands didn't shake when she answered questions. Her voice didn't falter. She looked like someone who had already decided to show up, no matter what. And Lily, standing there with a cup of coffee and her heart in her throat, realized something terrifying and beautiful at once. This was a forever moment. Not just for Quinn. For her too. Because loving someone wasn't just about soft mornings and passionate nights. It was about standing in the doorway, watching them face the hard things, and choosing to stay. Over and over again. The day Ivy arrived, the sky was the kind of gray that couldn't make up its mind. Clouds thick but not yet ready to break, a hush in the air like the world was holding its breath. Quinn stood by the window, fingers twitching against the hem of her sleeve. The apartment was spotless. The second bedroom, once a cluttered storage space, had been transformed into something soft and welcoming. Lavender walls, a small bed with dinosaur sheets, Nora's suggestion, shelves stocked with second-hand books and stuffed animals. A nightlight glowed faintly even in daylight. Lily sat on the couch, Nora curled beside her, swinging her feet in oversized socks. She could feel Quinn's nerves across the room like static. You're gonna do great, she said gently. You don't know that. I know you. Quinn didn't answer, just turned her face back to the window, watching for the car that would change everything. When it finally pulled up, a silver sedan with government plates, Quinn went still. Not breathing. Not blinking. Just waiting. The social worker stepped out first, then walked around to the passenger side. Ivy emerged slowly. Small frame. Thin arms. Long, tangled hair. A pink backpack hanging off one shoulder. She stood close to the car, eyes narrowed at the building. Suspicious. Guarded. Already older than her age. Lily's heart cracked at the sight of her. She looks like you, she whispered. Quinn opened the door. The girl didn't move. Quinn didn't rush. Just stepped outside and walked down the porch steps with measured calm. Hey, Ivy, she said, voice steady but warm. I'm Quinn. Your aunt. Ivy didn't respond. Just stared. The social worker gave her a light nudge. Ivy stepped forward, backpack swinging. You're tall, she said. Quinn blinked. Thanks. I don't like tall people. Quinn crouched instantly, leveling herself with Ivy's eyes. How's this? Ivy didn't smile, but her shoulders relaxed barely. Still taller than me. You're not wrong. Quinn glanced at the social worker, who gave her a nod, then returned to the car. She'd done this before, dropped off kids like packages with barely a goodbye. Quinn turned to Ivy again. Do you want to come inside? You don't have to talk if you don't want to. You can just see it. See if it feels okay. Ivy didn't say yes. But she didn't say no either. She walked past Quinn, through the front door, and into a new world. Inside, she paused just past the threshold. Lily stood with Nora, who gave a small, tentative wave.
Hi, Nora said.
I'm Nora. I'm 6.5. Ivy blinked. I'm 8. But only just.
Cool.
Want to see your room? Ivy hesitated. I guess. Nora took her hand without waiting and led her down the hall. Quinn let out a long, trembling breath. Holy shit. Lily walked over and took her hand. She's here. You did it.
No.
We did it. The next hour passed like something fragile. Ivy wandered her new room like a tourist in a foreign city, touching things, picking them up, putting them down. She didn't speak much. But she didn't resist either. At dinner, she only ate the bread. Quinn didn't push. She just slid the plate closer. When it was time for bed, Ivy stood in the doorway, backpack clutched tightly, and said, "Can I keep the light on?" "Of course," Quinn said. "You can keep every light on." "Even the bathroom one?" "Even that." Ivy nodded once. "Okay." And she went to bed. Not smiling, not crying, just surviving. But that was enough. That night, Lily and Quinn sat on the floor in the hallway, backs to the wall, both staring down the corridor toward the slightly open door of Ivy's room. "I don't know what I'm doing," Quinn whispered. "No one does," Lily replied. "You just show up. You stay. You keep the lights on." She didn't even smile. "You didn't either at first." "I'm terrified I'm gonna mess this up." "You will," Lily said gently. "We both will. But that's not the point. The point is, are you gonna stay when it gets hard?" Quinn didn't hesitate. "Yes." Lily reached over and laced their fingers together. "Then you're already winning." Over the next week, everything became a rhythm of learning and unlearning. Ivy didn't like eggs. She hated loud music. She needed time before answering questions. She flinched when someone moved too fast near her. But she liked puzzles. She loved dinosaurs. And she sat quietly beside Nora at bedtime, listening while Lily read stories. Quinn made mistakes. She offered too much too soon, tried too hard, forgot to leave space. But Ivy never pulled away completely. She hovered. She observed. And some nights, after the house had gone still, Quinn would check on her and find the puzzle pieces left mid-game, or the book she'd been reading tucked under her pillow. One night, Lily found Quinn in the kitchen, staring blankly into the fridge, shoulders tense. "Come here," Lily whispered. Quinn closed the door and walked straight into her arms. "She called me hey again today." "It's not personal." "I know. I want to be good for her." "You are." Quinn exhaled into Lily's neck. "You know what I realized today?" "What?" "This isn't a temporary thing. This is the beginning of the rest of everything." Lily smiled.
Yeah.
"I realized that too." That weekend, they took the girls to a park. Ivy climbed trees like a squirrel. Quinn spotted her, hands ready beneath. Lily spread a blanket. Nora taught Ivy how to blow dandelions. There was laughter, tentative but real. And just before they left, Ivy slipped her small hand into Quinn's without looking. She didn't say anything. She didn't need to. Quinn's eyes filled with tears, but she blinked them away. When they got home, Ivy disappeared into her room. Quinn sat on the edge of the bed, silent. "What is it?" Lily asked. Quinn looked at her, voice trembling. "She trusted me. Just for a second." "Yeah," Lily said, her own throat tight. "And she'll do it again. Just keep showing up." Quinn pulled Lily into her arms and held her like a lifeline. They stayed that way long after the girls were asleep. Because this wasn't just love anymore. This was family.
Built slowly.
Earned daily. And finally beginning. The adjustment to a new family rhythm wasn't linear. It wasn't neat. It didn't unfold like some glowing arc of steady progress. It was messier than that. Beautiful, but complicated. Ivy was a quiet storm. Soft-spoken, observant, unpredictable. One day, she clung to Nora like a shadow, mimicking everything she did, asking questions, even smiling when they played dress-up together. The next, she shut her bedroom door and refused to speak to anyone for hours. Quinn tried to give her space. But space was hard. It meant not knowing. It meant doubt and fear and the echo of every mistake she'd made before. "Maybe she doesn't want to be here," she said one night, pacing Lily's kitchen. "Maybe she's just waiting to be taken back." Lily sipped her tea slowly, grounding the moment with stillness. Or maybe she's learning what staying feels like, and she doesn't know yet how to trust it. Quinn sat down hard, rubbing her hands over her face. "I feel like I'm walking on eggshells." "You're not," Lily said gently. "You're walking on glass. It's sharp, and it hurts, but you're still here. That's what she sees. Quinn looked at her, eyes tired but soft. You always say the exact thing I need to hear. That's because I'm watching. Same as she is. That week, a letter arrived from Ivy's mother, Quinn's sister. Quinn read it alone first, sitting on the back steps as the sun sank low in the sky. Lily watched from the kitchen window, resisting the urge to follow. When Quinn finally came inside, her expression was unreadable. She held out the letter to Lily without a word. It was short, scattered, the writing uneven, regret pouring off every line. The mother said she was proud of Quinn for stepping up. Said Ivy was better off. Said she hoped one day her daughter would forgive her. At the bottom, there was a drawing in colored pencil, clearly Ivy's, folded inside the envelope. A flower with uneven petals and two stick figures holding hands. Quinn stared at it for a long time. Then, softly, "She's letting go. My sister. She's giving me her daughter." Lily reached out and slid her hand into Quinn's. "She's trusting you with her future. That's not giving up. That's giving everything." A beat of silence. Then Quinn said, "I don't know how to carry that." "You don't carry it alone." That night, Quinn sat with Ivy on the floor of her room, the drawing between them. "Your mom wrote to me," Quinn said gently. "Ivy didn't speak. She says she loves you, and she's working hard to get better. But she's not ready yet to be your mom again. And she wanted me to tell you that none of that is your fault." Ivy looked down, twisting the hem of her sleeve. "She always says that." "I know." Quinn reached for the drawing. "You made this." Ivy shrugged. "It's us, I think. Or it's supposed to be." Quinn's voice caught. "It's beautiful." Ivy didn't look up. "I don't know if I like it here." "That's okay," Quinn said quietly. "You don't have to like it yet. You just have to be here." A long pause. Then, almost a whisper. "Are you going to send me away too?" "No, baby," Quinn said, her voice shaking. "Not ever." Ivy didn't answer, but she leaned against Quinn's side and stayed. Meanwhile, Lily had her own reckoning. Her relationship with Quinn, so full of depth and promise, had begun to shift under the weight of everything new. The intimacy was still there, but now it was crowded, complicated. Some nights they barely touched. Some nights they fell asleep in different rooms, too exhausted to even say goodnight. It wasn't cold. It was just life. Real life. And Lily felt it pressing against old fears. She sat with Tanya at lunch one afternoon, her blunt, no-filter coworker who had once introduced her to Quinn with a smirk and a dare. "You look tired," Tanya said. "Ivy's still adjusting." "No, you look tired. That's different." Lily poked at her salad. "It's not the girl. It's everything. It's like we started building something beautiful, and then someone threw more weight on it than the foundation was ready for. And I'm scared the whole thing's gonna crack." Tanya leaned back. "That's how you know it's real. Real things strain. They stretch. They shift. They don't stay shiny. But if the core is strong..." She tapped the table. "It holds." That night, Lily went home and sat with Quinn after the girls were asleep. "Can we talk?" Quinn nodded, immediately alert. "Always. We need to find us in this again. Not just you and Ivy. Not just me and Nora. But us." Quinn's shoulders sagged. Not with frustration, but relief. "I was afraid to say it. I didn't want you to think I was slipping away again." "You're not," Lily said. "But we have to choose us two. Every day. Even when it's hard." "So how do we do that?" Lily smiled softly. "We start with one night a week. Just us. No kids. No stress. Even if it's just takeout and sitting in the truck." "Deal," Quinn said, reaching for her hand. "And maybe," Lily hesitated, "maybe we let the girls see that love too. Not just the kind that fixes and protects, but the kind that laughs, that flirts, that dances in the kitchen." "God, I miss flirting with you," Quinn said, grinning. "You're still allowed to. I haven't revoked your privileges." That night, Quinn lit a candle in the living room. They ordered Thai food. slow danced barefoot to a bad 80s playlist. Kissed like it was the first time again. The house didn't fall apart. The kids didn't wake up. And the world, for once, gave them that small, golden pause. In the quiet after, as they curled together on the couch, Quinn whispered, "We're not breaking, are we?" "No," Lily murmured, pulling her close. "We're building." The weather turned colder. Mornings arrived with fog curling against the windows, and evenings came faster than expected, settling over the apartment like a soft, familiar blanket. The girls adjusted to school routines, homework scattered across the kitchen table, mismatched socks piled in corners, small shoes forgotten by the door. It looked like chaos, but it felt like home. Ivy was changing, slowly, but undeniably. She still had her silences, her wary glances, the way she sometimes flinched when someone raised their voice too fast or laughed too loud. But she was coming alive in small, stunning moments. One morning, Lily found her and Nora making paper crowns at the table. "You're the queen," Ivy told Lily, serious and wide-eyed. "But I'm the secret one who keeps the kingdom safe." Lily's heart broke and healed all at once. That night, Quinn told her, "She's letting herself be seen." Lily nodded. "And it's beautiful." But beauty didn't mean ease. As the school year deepened, so did the pressure. Ivy began having nightmares, sharp, visceral things that jolted her awake and left her gasping. She didn't cry, not out loud. She just clutched the edge of the blanket and refused to speak. The first time, Quinn found her sitting on the floor, back against the wall, breathing like she was running. "You're safe," Quinn said softly. "You're not there anymore." "You don't know where I was," Ivy whispered. Quinn knelt beside her, slow, steady.
No.
"But I know where you are now." She opened her arms. Ivy didn't move at first. But then she folded into her, so tightly it hurt, her breath hot and frantic against Quinn's collarbone. Quinn held her for a long time. No questions. No explanations. Just presence. Afterwards, Ivy returned to bed, but only if Quinn stayed beside her. From that night on, the pattern began. Some nights quiet, some filled with whispered fear and sleepless hours. Quinn began sleeping less, worry settling into her bones. She didn't complain, but Lily noticed the darkening circles under her eyes, the stiffness in her shoulders, the way she went quiet more often. One night, after the third nightmare in a row, Lily caught her in the kitchen, staring into the refrigerator like she didn't remember what she was doing. "You need rest," Lily said gently. "She only sleeps if I'm there." "Then let me be there with her, too." Quinn hesitated. "She doesn't come to you."
Yet.
"But maybe she will. If she sees that safety isn't just one person, it's us." That night, they both lay beside Ivy. Nora joined them halfway through, dragging her stuffed sloth, curling against Lily's side. For bodies tangled under one blanket. It was too warm, awkward, crowded, and perfect. In the middle of the night, Ivy whispered, "Do moms stay forever?" Lily didn't answer right away. She felt Quinn tense beside her. "Some do," Lily said softly. "Some try.
Some don't know how.
But in this house, we stay, even when it's hard." Ivy was quiet for so long that Lily thought she'd fallen asleep. But then she said, "Okay." And that one word carried more weight than 100 promises. Days later, a meeting with social services loomed, one that would determine if Ivy's placement with Quinn would become permanent. The paperwork was done. The interviews had been passed. But the final decision still hung heavy, like the last pull of breath before a verdict. Quinn didn't speak much the day before the visit. She sanded down a shelf in the living room, repainted a corner that didn't need it, rewired a light fixture. Busy hands. Nervous heart. "You've already done everything," Lily told her. "They're not checking paint color. I need them to see she belongs here." "They will." "What if they don't?" "Then we fight," Lily said simply. "With everything we have." The next morning, the social worker arrived. Ivy clung to Nora's hand as the woman stepped inside. Quinn greeted her calmly, but Lily saw the tremble in her fingers. The interview was quiet, professional, questions asked, rooms observed. Then came the moment Ivy was asked to speak alone with the woman. You don't have to, Quinn said gently. But it would help. Ivy stood straighter. I want to. They watched her walk down the hall with the woman, small but sure, her chin lifted in quiet defiance. It took 15 minutes. When she returned, she didn't speak. Just walked to Quinn, took her hand and said, I told her this is my room now. And you're not a maybe. Quinn crouched, her eyes filling. You're not a maybe either, Ivy. The social worker left with a faint smile. No promises. Just a nod. And for the rest of the day, they waited. That evening, an email came. Lily read it aloud, hand trembling. Placement approved. Guardianship granted. Silence. Then Quinn's breath broke. She's staying. Ivy looked up. I was never leaving. The girls jumped up and down, squealing. Lily grabbed Quinn and kissed her hard. No words, no breath between them, just everything spilling out in that one moment. They held each other through laughter and tears and disbelief. That night, Ivy fell asleep between them, not because she was afraid, but because she finally could. And in the dark, Quinn whispered, I love you. I know, Lily whispered back. I've always known. And for once, the silence between them wasn't heavy. It was home. Happiness doesn't arrive with fireworks. It settles in slowly, quietly, like sunlight shifting across a room you didn't realize had gone dark. In the days that followed the guardianship approval, the apartment felt different. Not just more full, though it was. It felt claimed. Every corner breathed belonging. There were backpacks leaning against the hallway wall, socks tucked into couch cushions, the low hum of cartoons on Saturday mornings. The sound of children arguing over cereal. The smell of burnt toast. Ivy started calling Quinn Q. Not aunt, not mom, but something that sounded uniquely hers. She didn't explain it. She just said it once, softly, while handing Quinn a pencil for a math worksheet, and it stuck. Quinn had smiled so big it cracked something in her chest. Nora, meanwhile, began insisting they were sisters now. She made rules. No secrets unless it's a surprise party. Sharing snacks is love. Don't make fun of each other's dreams. Ivy mostly nodded, barely smiling. But she followed every rule. Lily and Quinn began to breathe again, together. Their weekly ritual held strong. One night carved out just for them, just to reconnect. Sometimes it was wine on the porch. Sometimes it was tangled limbs on the couch, hushed laughter in the dark. Sometimes it was slow dancing in the kitchen with music low enough not to wake the girls. They were building something steady, something rooted. And yet, peace has a way of making you feel like you're forgetting something. Like, maybe you're standing too still. One evening, Lily got a call from Nora's teacher. Nothing serious, the woman said. But Nora mentioned she has 2 moms now, and another child in the class teased her about it. I just wanted you to be aware. Lily thanked her, heart pinching slightly, and hung up. Later, she told Quinn. She didn't seem upset, Lily said. But I know her. It's under the surface. Quinn nodded slowly. I remember that feeling. Being the kid with the different home. What did you need back then? Someone to say you're allowed to have this life. That weekend, they took both girls out for ice cream and sat in the park under a low-hanging tree. Nora swung her legs on the bench. Ivy watched her cone melt faster than she could lick. Can we ask you something? Lily said, her voice light but careful. Both girls looked up. Do you feel safe? Ivy nodded immediately. Nora shrugged.
Yeah.
I mean, except at school sometimes. But that's not because of us. That's because some kids are mean. Lily took a breath. Do you feel proud of our family? Even if it doesn't look like everyone else's? Nora gave a dramatic sigh. Our family is cooler than everyone else's. Ivy was quiet. Then, some kids said I didn't have a real mom anymore. Quinn stiffened. And what did you say? I said I have 2. And that's more than most. Her voice didn't shake. But Quinn's did. That's right, she whispered. You do. The moment passed, small but mighty, and they finished their cones under the fading sun. A few days later, something shifted. Lily found Ivy drawing in her room. Nothing unusual. But this time, when she glanced at the paper, she froze. It was a family portrait, not stick figures, not something rushed. It was detailed, careful. The four of them, drawn in Ivy's quiet, precise lines. Quinn and Lily holding hands. Nora mid-spin. Ivy in the middle, smiling, actually smiling. "Can I show this to Q?" Lily asked. Ivy nodded. "I was going to give it to her." That night, Quinn opened the folded page slowly, carefully, as if it might crumble in her hands. Her lips parted. Her eyes welled up. She looked at Ivy. "I love it." Ivy shrugged. "You can hang it if you want. Or not. I don't care." But she did. And Quinn knew it. The drawing went on the fridge that night. The next day, Ivy brought home a certificate, Student of the Week. She didn't mention it. Just slid it onto the counter, like it was no big deal.
But it was.
And they celebrated with pancakes and whipped cream for dinner. Life became a rhythm of small victories. But still, not everything settled easily. One evening, while Lily worked late, Quinn tried to help Ivy with homework. It was fractions, something Ivy hated. "This doesn't make sense," Ivy snapped, pushing the pencil away. "I can't do it." "Hey," Quinn said gently. "It's okay. We'll try together."
No.
"I said I can't." "Ivy, just breathe. You're not my mom." Ivy yelled, suddenly, the words slicing through the room like a blade. Quinn went completely still. Ivy's breath hitched like she hadn't meant to say it out loud. Her eyes widened. "I didn't mean, it's okay," Quinn said, her voice even. But it wasn't. Not entirely. Ivy bolted, locked herself in the bathroom. Quinn sat on the floor outside the door. "You're right," she said after a moment. "I'm not your mom. I don't get to be that. But I'm your Q. And I love you. Even when you're mad. Even when you say things that hurt." Silence. Then a soft voice. "Are you going to send me away now?" Quinn closed her eyes. "Never." A pause. Then the door cracked open. Ivy peeked out, eyes red, chin trembling. "I'm sorry." "Me too." Quinn pulled her into her arms and held her
Tight.
When Lily got home, Quinn told her everything. "It hurt," she admitted, "but I think she needed to say it.
To test it.
To see if I'd leave." "And you didn't." "No," Quinn whispered. "I stayed." And that became their truth. Their strength. Not that nothing ever broke, but that nothing broke them apart. By the end of the week, Ivy had started calling her my Q when talking to other people. Not just Q. My Q. And when a classmate asked if Lily and Quinn were married, Ivy said, "Not yet. But they will be." Lily overheard it from the hallway at school pickup. And when she told Quinn, Quinn laughed and didn't deny it. It was the kind of morning that didn't warn you. The sky was clear, the air just cold enough to justify an extra layer, and the girls were in a good mood. Nora humming as she tied her shoes, Ivy reminding Quinn she had to sign a field trip form. Lily kissed them all on the forehead before heading to work, her heart full and steady. That was the thing about peace. You almost didn't notice it until something shook it. It started with a call. Quinn had just finished dropping the girls off when her phone rang. Unknown number. She nearly didn't answer, but something told her to. "Quinn Harper?" the voice asked. Female. Measured. Familiar, though Quinn couldn't immediately place it. "Yes. This is Carla Bennett. I'm Ivy's case manager's supervisor. We've had a development regarding her file." Quinn stopped walking. "Is something wrong?" A pause. "I think it's better if we meet in person. Today, if possible."
Today.
The word echoed. Quinn's chest tightened. "I can be there in an hour." The office was sterile and quiet. Carla was younger than expected, with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor that did nothing to soften the dread in Quinn's stomach. "We received a letter from Ivy's biological grandmother," Carla said, sliding a folder across the desk. "Her name is Deborah Martin. She's filed a motion for custody." Time slowed. The words didn't make sense at first. "She's what?" "We were unaware she existed." Ivy's mother didn't list her as a contact, but apparently she's recently learned about Ivy's situation and wants to be considered for placement. But she's never met Ivy. Legally, that doesn't disqualify her. The court has to review her claim. She's a stranger. She's blood. The silence that followed cracked something open in Quinn. I thought it was done, she whispered. I thought we were safe. This doesn't mean the placement is revoked, Carla said. But there will be a hearing. You'll have the right to respond. To fight. I will, Quinn said instantly. Good, Carla nodded. Because it's clear how much you love that child. That night, Quinn didn't tell Lily right away. She came home, cooked dinner, listened to Nora recount a funny story from class, helped Ivy sort through a pile of glitter-covered art projects. She laughed at the right times, smiled, kissed foreheads, and all the while, the words she filed for custody echoed in her skull. After the girls were asleep, she found Lily on the porch with a blanket over her lap, a glass of wine in hand, her eyes soft with peace. Quinn sat down beside her and took a long breath. Something happened. Lily turned immediately. What is it? Ivy's grandmother wants custody. Silence. The kind that lands hard and heavy. Lily didn't speak right away. She just reached over, took Quinn's hand, and gripped it tight. Tell me everything. And Quinn did. All of it. Every word. Every awful possibility. When she finished, Lily sat very still. Then said, Okay. Then we fight. Quinn exhaled shakily. She's not even in Ivy's life. She's a stranger with paperwork. But we have more than that, Lily said. We have her. Her trust. Her routines. Her drawings on our fridge. Her toothbrush next to Nora's. That's not paper. That's proof. Quinn's voice cracked. What if it's not enough? Then we make it enough. The next week was a blur of meetings and documents and lawyer referrals. Quinn and Lily prepared everything, school records, therapist letters, photos, schedules. They met with Ivy's teacher, her social worker, even the pediatrician. And they did it all while shielding the girls from the storm quietly gathering overhead. But children are observant. One night, Ivy sat beside Lily on the couch, her voice barely a whisper. Is someone trying to take me away? Lily didn't lie. Someone's asking questions. But that doesn't mean they get to take anything. She's my mom's mom, right? I remember her from when I was little. She smelled like medicine and never smiled. Have you seen her since?
No.
Not since I got taken away. Ivy looked up. Do I get to choose? Lily's heart twisted. Not completely. But what you feel will matter. We'll make sure of it. A week later, Quinn stood before the judge with Lily beside her, Ivy sitting quietly in the back with a child advocate. Deborah Martin was there too, polished, distant, expression unreadable. She spoke first. Claimed she'd been unaware of Ivy's situation. Said she had a stable home, resources, a desire to reconnect with her only grandchild. But she couldn't answer simple questions about Ivy, her grade level, favorite food, whether she had allergies. When Quinn took the stand, her hands shook, but her voice didn't. She talked about Ivy's trauma, her resilience, her bond with Nora, the way she hummed when she concentrated, the way she only ate toast if it was diagonally cut, the way she'd started whispering goodnight every night without being asked. She's not just a child I care for, Quinn said. She's my daughter. I didn't give birth to her, but she's in every corner of my life now. And I want to spend the rest of my life proving she's safe with me. When the judge called a recess, Quinn found Ivy in the hallway. Are you okay? Ivy asked. No, Quinn admitted. But I'm not going anywhere. Ivy nodded once, then slipped her small hand into Quinn's and held on. A week later, the ruling came. The court had reviewed all evidence, considered the emotional bonds, the stability, the recommendations, and the decision was final. Ivy would remain under Quinn Harper's permanent guardianship. The paperwork said permanent, but what it meant was forever. That night, Quinn cried for the first time in weeks, body shaking, breath caught in her throat, while Ivy sat on her lap, arms around her neck, whispering, I knew they wouldn't take me. "You're mine." And Quinn, in the middle of her tears, whispered, "And you're mine." Later, in the kitchen, while the girls watched a movie, Lily wrapped her arms around Quinn from behind. "She was never a maybe," she whispered. "None of this ever was." Quinn turned, hands on Lily's waist, eyes glistening. "I've never had a forever like this before." "You do now."
A beat.
Then Lily added, heart pounding, "So maybe it's time we make it official." Quinn blinked. "Official?" "Ivy thinks we're getting married anyway." Quinn smiled slowly. "You're proposing to me with pancake batter on your shirt? I'm proposing to you, with our whole life on my shirt." Quinn kissed her hard, right there in the kitchen, between dishes and crayons and everything messy and real. "Yes," she whispered. "Yes, yes, yes." The girls came running into the room a second later, demanding to know what the noise was about. "We're getting married," Lily said, breathless. Nora screamed. Ivy blinked. "Took you long enough." And in that moment, laughing, crying, kissing between two little voices screaming about flower girl dresses and rings made of glitter glue, they knew this was the beginning of the rest of their forever. The wedding wasn't big. It wasn't elaborate. There were no chandeliers, no ballrooms, no polished rehearsals or flower arrangements flown in from a catalog. But there was sunlight filtering through old oak trees and a clearing in the woods behind the house Quinn had started calling theirs. There were white sheets hung between trees, draped like soft banners. Folding chairs borrowed from the school gym. A table with mismatched mugs filled with wildflowers. And the scent of fresh bread cooling in a basket that Ivy had insisted be part of the meal, because weddings should smell like home. They didn't hire a photographer. Tanya brought her vintage camera. One of Quinn's friends played the violin with just enough wobbly notes to make everyone laugh. And Nora wore a crown made of paper and real daisies, declaring herself queen of the wedding and sister of the brides. It wasn't perfect.
Which is why it was.
Quinn stood under the largest tree, her suit slightly wrinkled, her curls pinned back with a silver clip Ivy had given her that morning. Lily hadn't come out yet. The guests were few, close friends, some neighbors, 2 teachers, the girls' counselor, and the woman from social services who had once delivered Ivy into their lives and now wiped her eyes with a tissue, unable to stop smiling. Then came the music, the slight rustle of leaves, and the hush that followed as Lily stepped forward, barefoot, in a simple linen dress that danced in the breeze. She wasn't nervous. Not today. Not with Nora ahead of her tossing flower petals and Ivy holding her hand, walking beside her like a promise fulfilled. Quinn's breath caught in her throat. She didn't cry. Not until Lily was standing in front of her, close enough to feel the warmth radiating from her skin. The officiant cleared her throat, but neither woman looked away from the other. "I could talk about fate," Lily began, not needing notes, not needing anything but Quinn's eyes. "But we didn't get here because of fate. We got here because of choice. Because every day we chose to show up. Through fear.
Through mess.
Through moments when it would have been easier to walk away." Quinn nodded, swallowing hard. "I used to think love had to look a certain way," Lily continued. "That it had to be clean and easy. But I've never felt safer than I have in the middle of the life we built. With Nora. With Ivy.
With you.
You didn't just teach me how to stay, you taught me how to trust that someone would stay with me, too." She reached out and took Quinn's hands. "I want every ordinary day with you. Every sock on the floor. Every soft morning. Every hard night. I want all of it." Quinn blinked quickly, then stepped forward. "I thought I didn't deserve this," she said. "That I'd made too many mistakes. That real love was something I'd already ruined. But then you showed up. And you stayed. And you kept seeing parts of me I didn't even know were there. You showed me that love isn't something we earn. It's something we build. And every single day, I'm still building it with you." She paused, her voice thick. "You, Lily, are my home. You and those girls, that messy, loud, beautiful life we've made. That's everything. That's all I want. Forever." The officiant smiled, barely holding it together. "Do you, Lily, choose Quinn today and always?" "I do," Lily whispered. "And do you, Quinn, choose Lily?" With everything I am. They kissed, soft and sure, and the girls erupted into cheers, Nora immediately demanding cake, Ivy wrapping her arms around both of them with a quiet, fierce smile that broke everyone watching. Someone popped a bottle of sparkling lemonade. The violin picked up again, and the clearing turned into a celebration of everything they'd built, family not by blood, but by bond. That night, after the guests had gone and the girls were asleep, Nora with frosting in her hair, Ivy tucked under a blanket she insisted smelled like wedding air. Lily and Quinn lay together in the small cabin nearby, the fire casting long shadows against the walls. Neither spoke for a long time. Then Lily turned her head. "We really did it." Quinn smiled, brushing a thumb along Lily's cheek.
Yeah.
"And I don't think I ever knew what peace was before this." "I still get scared sometimes," Lily admitted. "Of messing it up." Quinn nodded.
Me too.
"But that's why we keep choosing." Silence. Then Lily reached down and placed Quinn's hand gently over her stomach. Just a heartbeat's pause. Then Quinn's head snapped toward her. Her mouth fell open. Lily smiled. Quinn whispered, "You're?" Lily nodded. "I found out last week. I wanted to tell you after today. I wasn't sure how you'd feel." Quinn sat up slowly, hand still over Lily's belly. Her eyes shimmered. "I feel like I just fell in love all over again." Lily laughed, her eyes wet. "Well, that's good, because we're about to have even less sleep in this house." Quinn leaned down, kissed her softly. "Let's just keep choosing each other, no matter what." "We will," Lily whispered. And outside, the wind rustled through the trees, as if the world itself were exhaling with them. Finally, completely, because their story, full of jagged edges and stitched-together love, had become exactly what it was always meant to be: a home, a family, a forever. If you enjoyed this content and want to support the channel in a special way, try clicking the thanks button below. It's the one with the heart and $sign icon. With super thanks, you can make a direct contribution to the channel, which helps me keep creating awesome videos for you.